Africa's economies are the fastest growing in the world. Countries like Angola, Nigeria, Mozambique and Ethiopia have shown almost double-digit growth rates over the last decade. The whole continent's economic growth was 4.8% in 2013 and is projected to increase to 5.2% in 2014.
Among the 12 fastest growing economies in the world, we have 10 African ones. And Germany has to play a role there because it's an attractive business, and Germany has something to offer that nobody else has in terms of technology, reliability, expertise, and working to very high standards.
Africa's growth increases the demands for goods, services and particularly infrastructure. According to the African Union, there is still a huge lack of quality infrastructure throughout the continent. Around $93 billion are needed every year to address the infrastructural challenges. In many African countries, limitations in infrastructure constrain productivity at least as much as red tape, corruption and lack of finance.
Africa has significant deficit in infrastructure, either it's power, roads, airports, ports, etc. And we believe German businesses and German companies can provide a lot of support to Africa.
Infrastructure is it's a challenge. It's remain a challenge that wherever you will do business in Africa, you will have to face lack of infrastructure, because it's a huge continent.
Without ports and railways, streets and energy supplies, there is not going to be any industrialization in Africa. So this is the first step to start this growth everybody's talking about.
In the last couple of years, German companies have increased their engagement in African infrastructure projects. But putting the German business culture into consideration, which tends to be risk-averse, there are also considerable risks and challenges that need to be addressed.
Communication and lack of information are the two, main aspects, the two main hurdles you will face as a business people who want to do business in Africa.
When it comes to competing with other countries, like companies coming from China, coming from India or France even, it's very hard for us as a German company to compete with them, because when they are coming, they are bringing not only the products but also the investors or the finance fund.
We in Commerzbank believe that first of all, you need to differentiate between the countries in the African continent. Nigeria is different to Angola, Angola is different to Kenya, and Kenya is different to Ivory Coast, for instance. If you do that, then you will see that most of the countries have improved, in particular in their financial risk. This trend will continue, and that's why for most of the countries across the African continent, investors will have more options in the future.
I hope that the work of Afrika-Verein, together with our German politics, with our German government and with other important players, can contribute to a situation in which the German industry is represented in Africa in the same way it is represented in other parts of the world.
So African countries are growing, they are undertaking reforms, so the business environment is better, the governance environment is better, there is growth to be made, there is profit to be made, and we will encourage German business to get more involved with Africa and African businesses.
Africa is a particularly important partner for us because we believe that it is not just a question how risky is it to do business in Africa, it is nowadays the question how risky is it not to do business in Africa.
The current situation of the African infrastructure shows that there are more opportunities than challenges. But a coherent strategy is needed to pave the way for an extended partnership between Germany and the African countries. Looking forward to fruitful discussions, we welcome our African partners to the first German African Infrastructure Forum.